This is the Mariners POSTCAST, your instant game reaction for the Seattle Mariners. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Oh boy, what a series win. The Seattle Mariners win this one 2-1 behind an excellent Luis Castillo start. Yep. Cal Dumper homering for the fourth time in a 3-game series. Ooh. Huge moment for him. He now leads the MLB in home runs. And then Randy Arozarena, after Julio gets on with a single, a stolen base, a throwing error, and then Randy gets it done in the bottom half of the ninth inning, putting the ball in play. That is a massive series win. Really Anderson Hurst here, Christopher Crawford to my left. We're going to talk about the big old Dumper today. I'm going to continue my MVP campaign for Cal Raleigh because I said this a couple weeks ago. I was like, yeah, okay, the judge is going to win it. He is challenging him for it at this point. Sure. Luis Castillo, man, what can you say about him? I think it's like he's looking great in these past 3-4 starts. He's looking almost more like the 22-23 Castillo that we have gotten used to seeing. His slider was excellent today. No doubt. We'll talk about that stuff, and then we'll go through our unsung hero. But first, Christopher Crawford, what are your big takeaways from this game?
What an exhale. Because, look, I love this job. I'm super excited that we got to do it. I have no desire to do 4 straight extra inning games.
No.
Like none.
No.
You know what? I was getting tired of looking at Anders' face as we were waiting to go live. And when that run scores, and we have to talk about Andres Munoz, back-to-back blown saves now. Yep. That's the one real negative outside of the offense not being very good for most of this game. Shout out to Chris Paddock, though, for pitching a terrific game. But what an exhale. And I think you hit the nail on the head. What a massive series win. To have a chance now for a winning homestand if you win 2 out of 3 against Baltimore, and you really should be winning 2 of 3 against Baltimore at this point. You know, if your bad home series is a 5-4 homestand, that's not bad. That's not bad. If you go 5-4 in every single 9-game stretch, what's a stretch? If you go 5-4 every single time, you go 90-72. It adds up. This is how baseball works. So just a big series win. It's so great to see. They could have easily been swept. Easily. Yeah.
But they also could have easily swept. No question about it. Just like they could have taken 2 of 3 from against Washington. They could have taken 3 of 4 against Houston. But it was nice to see some breaks go their way over those last 2 games. Exhale. Yeah, exhale is a good way to put it. Vibe shift is real from American Warmonger. Like we said it yesterday, like Cole Young getting called up, him having the walk-off last night. It seemed like after 3 of the worst games I've seen in a long time, that it really seems like, all right, that's behind us. We're moving on now. We're back to the team that we have seen for the majority of this year. But let's go chronologically here. Luis Castillo, man. God, he looked good. He looked really good against, a Minnesota offense that hasn't been bad at all this year. And he was letting his 4-seamer eat. But the main thing was the slider, man. Getting those secondary pitches is so huge for him, and his command was great. He looked like he had the confidence on the mound to get the put-out pitches that we maybe haven't seen from him in the beginning part of this year, but his last 3 or 4 starts have been so good. Back to what we have really gotten used to seeing from Luis Castillo.
Yeah, 19 generated swings and misses today, which is an excellent number over 6 innings. Stuff was really, really good today. And, his start against Houston that last time, and I know we're just recapping today, but I think it's worth pointing out how much he battled in that start against Houston. So many singles, but he was still able to, until that very last batter that he faced while I was at the wedding, kind of paying attention to the game and kind of paying attention to the wedding. He battled. He battled. He didn't have to battle today. He was just really good. And this was the most reminiscent I've seen Castillo probably in a while of that version of when they traded for him. And that's not to say, hey, that Luis Castillo's been bad since joining the Seattle Mariners. On the contrary, that trade has been worth it and then some.
Absolutely.
And thank goodness they do not end up moving Luis Castillo in that trade, because We're talking about Luis F. Castillo making starts, and Anders and I get fired for saying bad words on this show. It's just going to happen.
Yeah.
But he was terrific today and battled Chris Paddock 0 for 0. We do have to give credit to Chris Paddock today. I know the offense wasn't good. Chris Paddock's stuff was insanely good today. And it was, as a prospect guy, it was kind of fun to see the reminder that Chris Paddock was once one of the best pitching prospects. Yeah. And had some decent moments when he was with the Padres, but kind of fell apart a little bit. This Twins team's tough. I do not want to see this Twins team in the postseason. Because
no.
Got guys with experience in the postseason like Correa.
Their starters are good too.
Starters are good, and their bullpen might be the best in baseball. I was telling this to Anders. Justin Topaz like their 7th best reliever, and he's having a heck of a year. He was tough. Like as Godspeed mentions, he was very dialed in on that outside corner. And now we can talk about Big Dumper because Chris Paddock's pitch to Big Dumper was a good one.
Yeah,
it was a really good breaking ball. But you can't pitch Big Dumper anywhere right now. No. You cannot pitch him anywhere. He is going to take you deep no matter where you throw the baseball. This is so special. This is so special. And, we'll talk about FanDuel in a second. Those MVP odds are down to 100-1. It was a little higher a little while ago. He is now 2nd in the American League. And boy, he's deserving of it. Aaron Judge, go on vacation.
Please.
Don't get traded because the Yankees need you. It's obviously, but just take a sabbatical. This is too easy for me. I'm going to go learn how to hit left-handed and see how good I can do that.
If he gets the switch hit like Cal's doing, and then he's still as good, then I'll consider him for MVP. But right now, Cal's my MVP.
But you know what? I also want Cal to just win it overall. I just want Cal to be so much better that he gets it. If I had to vote, the BBWAA somehow stupidly put me in, I would vote for Aaron Judge. I'm sorry. There's just no way you couldn't. But man, he's having a great year. And what a huge moment there to make sure that Castillo's start. Now, he doesn't get the win because we can talk about Andres Munoz in a second. But to make that start doesn't feel as wasted now, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like just a waste of 6 innings of shutout baseball with 5 strikeouts. And I think the 5 strikeouts kind of underestimate how dominant Luis Castillo was at times today.
Yeah, and I saw from our good boy Kobe Patino, and you can see his entire show tomorrow.
Sounds like a nice guy.
Yeah, he sounds like a really nice guy. But can you guess the whiff percentage that Luis Castillo had on his slider today?
I'm gonna go 44.
90%. 90% whiff rate on his slider today. That thing was eaten, and you love to see that. You absolutely love to see that. A lot of people are giving JP some love too.
That's me. It says Crawford has been great as. Thank you, Dustin. I think I wouldn't say I was nervous when I first came into this, but I do feel like I'm coming into my own, and it just feels good that people are recognizing just the job that I do.
I think you had a really you were kind of the leadoff guy for a while.
We're going to find out how good I am Tuesday.
We'll find out how good you are. Yeah, but your last series really, really raised the bar, I think.
Thank you.
And yes, we are talking about Christopher Crawford, but we're also talking about JP Crawford because that dude has been really good this series. It kind of, again, similar to kind of the Mariners in general, put behind them a pretty tough stretch of games with a big series win here today. I just want to go back to Cal for a second because
please.
We've seen, when other teams' players, like mainly Aaron Judge, when the Mariners played against the Yankees, how locked in those guys are. And you get the feeling like we just can't pitch to them. Walk them. I don't care. It's fun to be on that guy's team when he's that locked in. It's fun to have one of our players in that sort of zone. And it's just so fun to watch.
It really is. And what it really reminded me of is I was thinking about Julio's August a couple of years ago, which is still the best month that I have seen from any Mariner. And I have seen some really, really good Seattle Mariners. But that's still the best month I've seen. But this is 2 months of that now. 2 months now of upper echelon production, not just upper echelon, as good as any player in baseball outside of that 6'7" dude in New York. If he didn't exist, it wouldn't even be close that Big Dumper was the best player in the American League right now. It's just really impressive. And it's easy to forget how good he is defensively too.
You know, he's doing all of this while playing the most grinding position in all of sports, in my personal opinion. Catcher, having to do that. And not only doing that, not taking a single day off. He had 1 day off, and they said, nope, you got to come in.
Yeah.
And he had a massive hit in that game, too. Yeah. I believe it was the game winner. He's just special. And I'm running out of superlatives for it. And I hope that either this keeps up and I learn some new superlatives, or that it just keeps up and I keep saying, I don't know what else to say.
Yeah.
But my goodness gracious, what a special 2 months has been. It's probably the best 2 months that I have seen from a Mariner since Alex Rodriguez in his first full year of MLB action.
Yeah. So I have a question for you, because first of all, just enjoy it, Mariners fans, because these types of stretches, I feel like we're almost taking it for granted at this point because he's so damn good.
Yeah.
But please don't. Please just enjoy it. Recognize that this is special. And I'm not going to say that a regression is coming, but he's not. Maybe he will, but there's a chance that he's not going to be this good for the rest of this year. Maybe he is. Maybe, and that's my question to you. What is a more impressive outlook? That he might have the best Mariner season, period, offensively and defensively, that we've ever seen, or that he might have the best catcher season that we've ever seen from any team, any player? Which one of those two is a more likely outcome, and which one's more impressive?
I will go, it's a little more likely that he's going to be. This is really close. That's a really good question, because Mike Piazza put together some years that are just spectacular.
Yes.
Spectacular.
Wasn't that great defensively, though?
No, he wasn't even close to as good defensively but credit to him. He did work hard, and he was able to stick at the position for much longer than anyone could have ever imagined. Man, Griffey's 1997 was special. A-Rod's 96 was special. So I would go that it's more impressive if he becomes the best catcher season ever, but it's really close, because the Mariners Mount Rushmore competes with almost any Mount Rushmore in baseball.
It's true.
The Yankees win because they have like 4 Mount Rushmores that beat every other Rushmore. But there's just a couple of teams that probably have a better Mount Rushmore than the Seattle Mariners. So to be on that list is crazy. But when you consider how long we have played the sport of baseball, and how, if Big Dumper keeps this up for another, what are we at now? 100 games, 105, something like that. If he can do this, he will have the greatest catcher season, and it's not even close.
Not even close.
So I'll go with that one, but that's a really good question, Anders.
Thank you. That's what we do here on the Locked On Mariners postcast. We react to the game right after the final pitch, but we also ask the tough, hard-hitting questions here, and we hang out with you guys. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. Really, really appreciate it. There's a lot of shouts for Unsung Hero today. The Mariners win the series by winning the last game. It didn't come without a blown save, though. Once again, Andres Munoz enduring kind of his toughest stretch of the season here with his blown save on Friday, and then also a blown save today. Today it feels like Friday. It felt like he was kind of still hitting his pitches. The Twins were just locked in, and they were hitting some good pitches. Today was not the case. He wasn't able to locate a slider at all. A couple wild pitches. And just it was a tough. Maybe Ty France just knows him. That's why he's gotten hits on him in both times. By the way, so
true. Good point.
There is something to maybe be said about that. Kind of makes me mad, because I was not the biggest Ty France fan at the later end of his career. Love the guy as a person, though, but
he's terrible.
So. Any concerns here with Munoz? I like to think no, but it's been 2 straight times, and how can he kind of overcome this a little bit?
I don't have any long-term concerns. I might have some concerns over the next week or so. I think Dan Wilson really screwed up not getting this guy into games, and I think that I don't want to make excuses for it. He's still a major league pitcher. He's still
okay. Hold on, just a second. You're going to make me get pissed again about them not bringing him on Sunday against the Astros?
Yeah.
Really? You're going to do that? Because I have now complained about that 3 times in the last week.
That's a long layoff. That's a long layoff for a guy who is used to working hard. And, because it's not stuff. He was throwing 100 miles per hour. He had good movement. The slider had good movement on the pitch. just didn't know where it was going.
Yeah.
He just didn't have any idea where that pitch was going to end up today, and it ends up biting him in the tuchus. I think he's going to be just fine, and it's not about a mentality thing. It's about first of all, this is a hard-ass game, and you are going to screw up here and there. He still has an ERA of a 1.42, even after 2 blown saves. He's been fantastic. And you know what? Maybe get the blown saves out of the way. Get these out of the way and be really good over the summer. So
I'm going to be perfect throughout the season out of here now so you can just go.
To make a sport comparison, it's kind of why if I was a guy coaching a college basketball team, I would love to get a loss in the conference tournament if you're a national title contender and then go win 6 in a row because it's really hard to win. Go back to Gonzaga that year that they were clearly one of the greatest college basketball teams of all time. But you got to lose sometime. You might as well blow a save in June if you're not going to blow any saves in August and September. That's the optimistic way of looking at it. I will say, too, so Matt Brash ended up getting the job done. That was pretty shaky. That was a little bit scary to watch. His command was really bad today. And that's my one thing about whether or not Matt Brash can be he's already an upper echelon reliever, but he has the stuff to be the best reliever in baseball. Not even close to the best reliever in baseball, like in that God level tier type area. But his command's still really bad. His command is still really, really bad. That was scary, but with that slider, and he missed his spot by a large amount on that 3-2 swinging pitch. But he gets the job done. Munoz does not. There's no closer controversy whatsoever. But we want to see him be better because we like Andres Munoz, and also because it would behoove him to pitch better than he has these last 2 games.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you there. I don't have any long-term concerns. I like the kind of idea of getting these out of the way now, and I actually completely agree with you on the layoffs because it's a fine line for relievers, man. You don't want to work them too much and every day or every other day, but
so hard.
Being off for 6 days without pitching to live batters, that's a lot, man. It's tough to stay in your rhythm. God, it makes not bringing him in that Houston game even more infuriating. I'm going to be so angry at that game for so long, especially if we lose on a tiebreak to them. But let's talk about that 9th inning, because after Munoz blows the save, it's we're going to go to extra innings again. You and I were talking about it right before we went live. But Julio leads off, gets a single. We'll say a single. It was not necessarily a hard hit. Sure. But it was a tough play for, what was it? Clemens at second base, I believe. He gets on first. Cal strikes out rarely. I mean, not rarely, but just doesn't come through in the moment rarely. As of late, it seemed like, whoa, he's human. Mm-hmm. Then Julio steals second, gets to third on a throwing error, and then it comes up Randy. Let's talk about Julio setting the table because it can be really overlooked because Randy's the guy that came through in the big moment. Cal's the guy to hit the home run.
Right.
Julio's getting on base ahead of that and then using his speed to put pressure on the pitching staff and the catcher really set up everything else in that inning.
Yeah, and it's worth pointing out Julio also had a really nice walk and 2 other bad at bats, to be fair. And he also had a horrible throw home. As good as that seed was yesterday, no, it wasn't quite the same level of bad, but it wasn't a good throw. Yeah. And thankfully there were 2 outs and Munoz gets the job done. But here's the thing. Just putting that ball in play is something that Julio Rodriguez really struggled with at times.
Yes.
Putting the ball in play, making the defense have to make a play on one of the fastest runners in baseball. So getting on first base when Big Dumper doesn't get the job done, as rare as that is, he doesn't. Yep. Going to steal that second base and stealing it so easily that there was no chance that they were going to get him at third base.
Yeah.
You can't teach that. That is the type of athleticism, and to his credit too, getting that jump, the type of instincts that you can't teach major league players. That is elite base running, and the Mariners do not win that game without Julio Rodriguez making those plays. Also made a terrific diving catch in the outfield as well today, which is just something that we kind of take for granted.
Yeah.
But a great job by him. And then a great job by Randy. It was so nice to see Randy Arozarena come through in that situation. Not because he has failed there before. It's mostly about Randy Arozarena just hasn't looked very good lately. there's no doubt that no moment's too big for Randy Arozarena. He is literally one of the greatest postseason baseball players of all time. So we know the moment's not too big, but it's baseball. And there's a reason why Randy Arozarena is not a 5 to 6 win player. It's because he has these spurts where he just looks lost. But a great job to line that baseball up the middle and give the Mariners such a massive win.
Yeah, putting the ball in play. That's something that I wasn't expecting. I kind of was like, I even told you, like, oh, Randy strikeout here, guaranteed. And I love Randy. He's one of my favorite players. I think he's a great player for the Mariners. But you're right. He goes through these spurts where it's like, okay, like, shake it off. Let's go. Yep. What is he doing up there? His defense is questionable. There's definitely holes in his game. But with the Julio conversation, we talked about this yesterday. He may not be having the moments that he was having in his rookie or second year.
Sure.
But he still brings value in so many different ways.
No doubt.
Both defensively, on the base paths. He's not striking out as much this year. He's walking more, putting the ball in play. Yeah, his slugging is a little bit iffy. I want to see him drive the ball a little bit more. And there's still holes to his game for sure. Coming up in big moments, I still want to see that happen. But I honestly think this kind of role is still going to be good, and you have a jumping off point now. And I think that kind of, to me, explains why I think he should be your leadoff hitter. I really, really think he should be your leadoff hitter. So he's the type of guy, just gets a single, gets on base, then he can steal, put tons of pressure on him, and let Cal, Randy, and Polanco, if he can figure out how to swing a flipping bat, to be the guys to hit him in, because I think that's the type of role that I really, really see. Kind of Ronald Acuna 2023-esque. You know what I mean? Just
absolutely
total, like, just all do it all top of the lineup guy that sets the table for the rest of them. So I think that's kind of where I really want to see him grow. Hopefully he can get to that point. But before we get to Unsung Hero, guys, send us yours, because there's a lot of options today. You mentioned FanDuel, but it's not FanDuel today. We'll just give them a quick shout out because they're our friends.
Sure.
I don't want to talk about some good pistachios. I don't want to talk about great pistachios. I want to talk about wonderful pistachios. If you're looking for a snack that's both delicious and nutritious, crack into a good source of protein with Wonderful Pistachios.
Wonderful Pistachios is one of the highest protein nuts. Each 1 ounce serving has 6 grams of protein, giving you over 10% of your daily value. Plus, they're packed full with fiber and better for you unsaturated fats to keep you feeling fuller longer. Anders, today was such an intense game.
Yeah,
you know what I was thinking while I was sitting there? I wish I had some pistachios to snack on right now.
Dude,
I wish I had some sort of nut to be able to just crunch on for a little while.
Yeah.
Make me feel better, because Wonderful Pistachios always makes me feel better.
It does for me too, man. So I'm with you on that one. Get snacking and get cracking with the snack that packs a protein punch. Visit wonderfulpistachios.com to learn more. All right, Unsung Hero, let's do it. I think there's a lot of good options. I'm going to shout out JP. I've seen a lot of shouts for Eduardo Bizardo as well.
Yeah.
Even Matt Brash getting out of that jam that he put himself into. But I'm going to let you go first. What do you think, Chris Crawford? Who's your Unsung Hero of the day?
You know, I was thinking about Bizardo, but I'm going to let the fans have that one. And they're not wrong.
Right.
They're not even kind of wrong. I'm going to go with Julio. Like, it's very easy to forget that if he doesn't get that base hit and put that ball in play, make the defender make a tough play, and then steal those couple of bases, they don't win this game. And that's now 2 or 3 that we picked Julio for Unsung Hero, which is kind of fun too. Bizardo was great. The Castillo was sensational. JP belongs in that conversation too. But I'll go with J-Rod for this one.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you there. The fans' vote is Bizardo. I'm seeing a lot of those. I'm seeing a Ben Williamson at third. I like that shout. He didn't have a great day offensively, but him coming up, like, Castillo's kind of a guy, like, he did have a lot of swing and miss today, but lately he's been a kind of pitch to contact guy, so you got to have good infield defense around you, and Ben Williamson's been coming up clutch. From Owen, walking home from the game, got the postcast playing in my headphones. Day is good. Beautiful. Owen, appreciate you hanging out with us. The day is good for us as well. Love having you guys come and be with us.
No doubt.
It's the highlight of my day. That's absolutely sure. And then
it's like the second or third best thing for me, but that's okay.
Okay, you know what? Like some days it's not going to be top, but for me, it's most of those days. I can understand. But the Mariners win the series, win the game 2-1. Hopefully, this puts the kind of bad vibes behind them. Because I mean, we need to push forward. Series against Baltimore starting on Tuesday, so day off tomorrow. You won't have to sit through me and Chris for once. And I want to let you guys know, just a quick heads up, that I myself will not be there on Tuesday. You will just be Chris Crawford. You'll get a little mile-wise special because he's used to doing those solo dolo. I'm going to the game for my birthday. So I will
happy early birthday, my friend.
Thank you, man. Really appreciate it. I will be living
19. Congrats on turning 19, buddy.
I wish. I really, really, really wish. Although then I wouldn't be able to drink at the game. So anyways, but no, I'll be living through the emotions with you guys. So just kind of think of me as living vicariously through you guys. But I'll be sure to be tuning in to Mr. Christopher Crawford doing the post-game show right after the final pitch. Be sure to catch Colby and Ty on Locked On Mariners tomorrow. They'll be dropping a new episode. If you did miss any of last week's episodes, they were awesome. They talked to Mina Kimes and some other really, really good listens. If you're just looking for some more Mariners content today before their episode drops tomorrow, that is a great place to start. But really appreciate you guys hanging in with us and kind of working through the kinks of this past week. And I think Chris said it perfectly. If 5-4 is like a bad homestand for you guys, or a bad 9-game stretch, I guess you could say, then like we're all right. All right, let's move forward. Go win the Baltimore series. We'll talk to you guys on Tuesday. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.